on those bad days, when you get through it, you need to make up for that and, you know, apologize to people, you know, eat. Sometimes you gotta eat crow sometimes, man.
So I know that this topic has already gotten a lot of coverage, but I'd like to delve into it myself. You know, I'm looking for new ways to expand YouTube, my YouTube, and figure out, you know, what people like. So why did Daniel Blair leave Supercross broadcasting? So if you don't know anything about Daniel Blair, he used to be an announcer for Supercross, Supercross Live. He's done a lot of other things like women's lacrosse at one point. And just a plethora of different things throughout his career. Daniel Blair is a father and a husband. He plays in a band called Main Event Moto. He is also a former Supercross and motocross pro racer. He's from SoCal originally, was born and raised in SoCal, and then through the course of the NBC broadcasting, he moved to the East Coast. His first race was a PW50 at World Minis in Las Vegas. He was a KTM recruiter for the Futures class. Started doing that in 2022, was picked up by KTM in 2022 to be their recruiter for the Futures class. He started his pro career in 1999, and his last race was March 31st of 2012. He's a man of many talents. So now that you guys know a little bit about the man that Daniel Blair is and some of the few list of accomplishments that I wrote down for you guys to take away from this, let's start talking about why Daniel Blair left broadcasting for Supercross. You know, because he was one of my favorites, but he's no longer there. He always made it fun. He always made it energetic. He always, you know, gave good insight and, you know, moved it along. So I guess let's go see what Pulp Mx's Steve Mathis has to say about what he thinks was the reason for Daniel Blair leaving.
You stepped in, you did both. You did the pit reporting on the TV show. You went in the booth. Did you track walk stuff too? I thought you did something else. Wasn't there something else in there, a VIP thing or something? I thought there was something in there, not track
press
walk.
Conference.
Press conference. Press conference. You basically were a little bit like Feld was, and again, this is my words, not yours, but Feld's taking advantage of you a little bit because you're so good at everything and you can do everything. You're versatile. So, you, like anybody, you want to progress up the ranks. You get in the booth 2 years ago as the play-by-play guy. They give you a shot for a couple races. You do a good job. You work with Ricky well. It works out really well. I'm guessing you don't want to be the race day live, the press conference guy, the pit reporter guy anymore. You want a job like that. It's easier. It's probably more money. It's more prestigious, and you're good at it. But listen, when NBC, and again, Lee does a great job. He's an iconic voice in motorsports for NBC. Todd Harris, he has a long Supercross background from back in 2000s. Todd is a great guy, and I enjoy talking to Todd. However, he's coming in from London. He's living in England. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, he lives in England. He's flying in from England. He's not up on our sport 24/7. You can tell. He had some rough patches, okay? But they're still picking Todd over you. They're giving you a few shots. But in my mind, you walked away because you're like, look, man, you guys are using me for everything. You're using me like a rented mule here. And I want the booth. And you think so little of my ability to be in the booth that you're flying a dude from London in who doesn't really know our sport backwards and forwards like he should. I hope Todd doesn't get mad at me for saying that, but that's how I feel. And so you're probably just like, hey, man, like if you guys aren't going to, like I see what, like you're just going to, hey, we got old Daniel. Hey, the popcorn machine, you know, hey, Daniel. Hey, press conference. Like, so I think you took a stand and you were like, yeah, I'm good, guys. Like, I'm good. It's my own theory. It's my own theory.
Seems like a good one.
Thank you, Uncle Jim.
I like that one.
So as you can see by that, I mean, Steve put his view out there of what he thought. So I got another short clip of TP 199, Travis Pastrana, saying what his view of Ricky was. This was many years before the last podcast clip or any of this drama had started. And this is just, you know, kind of show from the outside who people thought that Ricky Carmichael was.
I've grown a lot since I was a racer, and I think to be a racer, you have to have that. Yeah. I mean, it's like Carmichael. I get along with him really well now, but like he wouldn't even let me test on the Suzuki test track. Like he might learn something. You know, he was kind of an asshole, but he's the greatest of all time, and that's what you have to be the greatest. And I wasn't willing to go there, and that's why I went freestyle.
All right. So this is where things, in my opinion, start to get kind of shitty, because we don't get to see what's going on in the background, you know, between races and like before races start and after races are over. You guys can make your own assumptions about these video clips, but in my opinion, he came in extremely aggressive and like Daniel said, made 2 bad jokes, and he really did, and he was being an asshole.
Let me be clear about something. Blair's breakdown was a straight up gift to the fans. I never got paid. We never had a sponsor. I knew you all liked it, and it was my absolute favorite thing to do. And he walks up to me on my show. It was the first time I spoke to him since Oakland.
Yeah, me too. You mind getting out of here, please? Hi, everybody. Ricky Carmichael. You're the chosen one. You're the fans' favorite toy here. So, but I'm trying to.
And the first time since the fans really, really ripped into him. And he was with a bunch of VIPs on a tour, and I was thinking it was gonna be good. Yeah,
you're a spin master toy. You're the favorite toy of the fans. So, but I'm trying to take care of these beautiful VIP people we have right now, giving them, telling them what to watch for on tomorrow's broadcast, and what are we watching for? Specifically, tell them to do is go watch some old video, Daniel Blair racing Supercross, and whatever he does, you want to do the exact opposite. So that's what I start with. So.
He's funny. LCQ jokes, they were funny. I never had an issue with those. I actually reminded people that I actually raced. Some didn't even know that I raced, and that's fine, but this was different. There was people around, and he smacked me up pretty good. I tried to soften it up. I played back. I made the boat joke.
Was it this stadium that you hit the boat? Or was that other stadium? Almost hit the boat. Get your facts right.
But he made 2 bad jokes, and he called me the fans' toy. I care about the fans. They meant everything to me. I mean, I even surveyed my Main Event Moto podcast fans and wanted to know what they wanted, and they answered big time. I built my entire commentary around them and the fans, and he said that in front of fans and clowned me.
I think he hit the boat. Ricky Carmichael, everybody. I don't even know what I was talking about. I know what I was talking about. Preston Bates flew. Look at what just happened here. Look what just happened. There's a lot of jumps on this track. You couldn't have picked a different one? No, well, we wanted to come to the middle of the section so I could really give them the bird's eye view. Tell me where I can go where I won't interfere with your tour. How about like out in the parking lot? Let's start there. The Ricky Carmichael Comedy Tour continues, folks, next Tuesday night at the local bar. Don't you have another gig you gotta go to? I'm trying to get. If you would stop talking to me, I could get to my next obligation. Popcorn machine needs a refill. Okay, all right. Well, go get your popcorn. All right, guys, I'm back and I'm refocused. What I was gonna say about Preston Baseloop is consistency.
And then took a shot at my career, which stings pretty bad, honestly. I regret my racing career, all of it. It's what fuels me and my work ethic. I was a corner cutter when I was young. I never put in the work, and that stung a bit, but I finished the show, I moved on to the next duty. I actually forgot it happened. I was not even mad about it in the moment. I just thought it was kind of over the top, but whatever. I mean, embarrassing, but not a big deal.
Just because you're the head of the sport, you're the GOAT, you know, you're the best of all time, that doesn't give you the right to treat people like they're below you and like you can just walk on them and do whatever you want, and if they don't make you happy at every turn, that you get to banish them from something that they have worked so hard to be a part of. And I feel like over the years, Daniel Blair was one of the fan favorites. He always has been a fan favorite. You know, I've seen a lot of the stuff online, like, you know, bring Blair back. You know, to each his own, and I understand that he doesn't want to be involved with this anymore just because of all the stuff that has happened over all the years. But he does deserve to be, have a good life, and he does deserve to succeed and do the things that he wants to do, just like all of us are trying to do. And it really sucks that one person, I mean, I guess I can't say that it was one person. It was multiple people that ruined his opportunity at continuing broadcasting and getting to the place where he'd, dreamt of since he was 5 years old, sitting in World Minis on the starting gate, or sitting in the crowd watching Ricky Carmichael win that night. And I think that it's wrong. It doesn't matter, what accomplishments you have that back you. You don't ever treat somebody like garbage. So in this next clip, it's on the Gypsy podcast. I'm sure that, if you're watching me right now, I know that you know who Gypsy Tales is. Jace, he asks Daniel a pretty hard question, and as soon as he asks it, you can hear the quiver in Daniel's voice, because he already knows what's coming. And he gets a brief explanation as to, kind of another piece of the puzzle as to what ran him out of NBC Sports or Supercross, the booth. Let's jump over to Gypsy.
Is the whole like you and Ricky thing, was that like pretty fake news?
Which thing?
Well, like there were just things coming out that it just made it out like it was just you versus him, and it was like this whole thing, like, because I don't know, you seem cool with Ricky in a way that would make me think that's not all the way true.
I would say, knew this question was coming too. We did not have the best final year. I would say there was some fracturing for sure. But if I look back now and look at it as an overall, it was a really rad experience for me to be with him, because not a lot of people know this, and it's whatever, I'll admit it now, but my very first race ever was on a 50 at the Las Vegas World Minis when I was like 5, and I fell over in every single corner, and Ricky Carmichael was there that day, and he won. And so I'm this little 5-year-old kid, and he ends up winning, and he was like the only guy jumping the finish line, and I'm just like, oh my God, barely knew what racing was. So I kind of idolized him all the way through my entire life. And then, of course, he goes on to be greatest of all time at the size of 5. I mean, about a quarter inch shorter than me, whatever that is. Point that out. Just about an 1/8 to a quarter inch short. But
5 4/16.
We could get it out. But he goes on to be the greatest of all time, and I watched every minute of it, and he was short. And to me, dude, I'm a little guy, and dude, little people stick together. So I'm like, he was my guy. And so to get all the way through and chase and then, meet him, become friends with him, and then work your way up, and then someday be sitting next to him was very rewarding to me. And I look back now, obviously way more recovered from my exit, and I'm like, that was value to me. But it would be unfair to not be honest and say that there was some fracturing in the last year.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And I think that, I could just imagine, I don't know how I would, go through what you did. Like, I'm in a very lucky position where no one can tell me what to do. No one can tell me what to say. Like, obviously there's a window you got to kind of operate in. Like, there's some people that are like way too far out, but like, we got our own crew. I pick all the people I work with. Someone comes into the crew that I don't like. See you, bro. Like, being in a very corporate world, Supercross is like a slither of what NBC does and these companies, and it's a slither of what Feld, like, that's a whole thing to navigate. And I can imagine that you're on a tightrope the entire time, and I personally can't see how I would make it in that environment. And so I could relate that there would be challenging, and there would be a lot of different things that go back and forward, and it causes tension with people that you otherwise would never have tension with in your life if it was just you two hanging out as boys and moto fans. So I can definitely see how that becomes a very hard thing to navigate in that world.
And eventually I couldn't.
Yeah.
In reality.
So now that you guys have seen that, that's where his list of accomplishments comes into this. You know, he said that he looked up to Ricky. He was sitting in Las Vegas racing the World Minis on a PW 50 and like at 5 years old, and looked up to Ricky Carmichael. Like that was his idol at that time. You know, at 5 years old was his idol. You know, so fast forward to like when all that stuff happened, could you imagine the person that how Daniel's feeling in all this, you know, after all these years of looking up to Ricky and, you know, just wanting to be in the booth next to Ricky and you know, making the magic, making content and making a show that people want to watch, you know, that everybody really wants to watch. And, you know, I know there's haters out there. I know there's people that says, you know, screw Daniel, he's not the best one, blah, 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 blah. My opinion, and there's a lot of other people's opinions whose are the same. Daniel Blair was the man on Supercross. So, I don't know. He's always seemed like a nice guy to me. I don't know how you can treat him like that.
But we have some sad news to share. Daniel Blair, you are going to hand in your badge as an SMX Insider. This is your last week with us. I cannot believe I'm even saying these words, man.
Yeah, it's sad and it's kind of hard to get the words out, but I feel like this is a nice baton pass, you would say, onto JT. But no, yeah, big decision and a tough decision, but I've actually decided to step away just from Supercross and broadcasting and TV and all the obligations that do come with that. It's a really, really hard decision for me and my family, but honestly, I got to look at it from a positive angle, which is this has been like the most amazing chapter of my life. Got a call in 2014. Hey, do you want to audition to do TV for Arena Cross? Never thought it would lead to anything other than just being on TV, which I thought was cool. And to be able to make it all the way to the play-by-play booth, do 11 races, top it off with Daytona Supercross next to James Stewart and Ricky Carmichael. Just unbelievably fulfilling for me. And so yeah, this is kind of the official end of a chapter and the beginning of a new one with some cool opportunities that are presently here and ones that are coming. But yes, Jason, this is signing off for me.
Yeah, not just this show, but not in a broadcast capacity at all. You and I have discussed this quite a bit offline because you do have other jobs, you have other things. So you can explain here some of the specifics of why you can't do all this at the same time.
Yeah, well, ultimately the battery ran out. I mean, you know, I take on a lot. That's been kind of a running joke for a long time, but I think this season, just the challenge that came with it got the better of me, and the battery did run out at the exact same time that I have some amazing opportunities that will allow me to change my life and reprioritize some things, mostly around my family. And the first one is KTM. And not a lot of people know this, Jason. We've teased it and joked around a little bit this year, but KTM gave me the position of amateur team manager for not only KTM, Husqvarna, and Gas. And that's a really awesome opportunity. There's 19 kids on the roster that need my guidance and need my management. And I feel like I owe it to them to give them everything and not just give them half. Because even this year I was up in the booth calling some races and Futures kids were out there. 4 of them were my riders that I was managing. And it was just, man, those were some really weird nights for me. So yeah, moving forward, I got to take advantage of an opportunity to really give back to these amateur kids who are going through the toughest part of the early years, which is that transition into pros. And I've been through that and I can help in many ways. So I want to do that. Also, the chance to be home more. Next Level 101 is a racetrack and training facility right by my house. I'm actually going to be part of the ownership group moving forward there, which gives me a chance to give back at the organic grassroots level. And we're going to be coaching kids, very beginners, just getting kids on bikes, all the way up to Futures kids who are trying to make it in Supercross. And to be able to be there and be able to impact lives there, and of course with KTM at the Amateur Nationals and at the Supercrosses and Motocrosses, it's just a huge opportunity that I want to take very serious. And you know, I'd like to do it all. I'd like to do everything, but sometimes you got to reprioritize things and put things in order. And ultimately, that's the next chapter for me, and that's where I'm going to put my heart. So I'll be around. I ain't going anywhere, but I'll just be, you know, giving my passion to sport in different ways moving forward.
All right. Sorry to hear it. It's good we'll still see you at the races and you'll still be in the industry. Got big shoes to fill, and don't be a stranger. That's it. For SMX Insider this week, you'll see myself, James Stewart, and Jason Thomas on hand, round 1 Pro Motocross, watching on Peacock or the Super Motocross Video Pass if you're outside the U.S. Can't wait to go racing, everybody. It's going to be a good one.
And Daniel feeling like RC is his idol, you know, since he was 5 years old, and he's always looked up to him. Let's jump into this clip that I just found actually the day after the truth came out from Daniel Blair, of Ricky Carmichael talking about his public image and, you know, like if you should worry about it. So here that is.
Oh, and just don't be an asshole. You know, it's pretty much, it's that easy. And, you know, you treat people how you want to be treated and be kind. And you don't know what everyone's going through. And, you know, just do you. You know, do you be the best version of you every day. Every day I wake up, I'm like, how can I be better than I was the day before? Are you going to have bad days? Of course. But if on those bad days, when you get through it, you need to make up for that and, you know, apologize to people, you know, sometimes you gotta eat crow sometimes, man.
The way that Ricky explained it right there kind of sounds to me like he owes DB an apology. Because, I mean, Blair's breakdown, he did too much, he said too much, he came off arrogant and cocky and just disgusting. So, I mean, my opinion is that he owes him an apology, but also if you look at it, sounds like RC thinks that he should owe him an apology too, considering that the truth from Daniel Blair came out, and then the next day, this Vital MX clip of Ricky talking about his public image comes out, and he literally did exactly what he said that you shouldn't do. You know, he treated somebody like crap. So, I don't know. What are your thoughts and opinions on it? Leave it down in the comments. Stay tuned for any other videos that I bring out in the future. Hit the subscribe button. Also, we got BraapBoyz.com open, so if you guys want any merch, this is obviously not on there because this is extremely old. But I do have new merch that just hit the site about a week ago. So if you guys want to support in that way, head on over to BraapBoyz.com and snag you up some merch. Later.